Welcome back to the Kitchen Police, where the food I cook is so good, it ought to be a crime. We've already got 2 side dishes that we've made in previous episodes, but before we make our first main course, let's make our first dessert. Something simple and delicious and easy to make that I can serve to my vegetarian fiancée this weekend and make her think that I actually know how to cook things. So the deliciousness we're going to cook up today is lemon squares. I wrote that down as if I couldn't remember it. This recipe doesn't look too difficult or time-consuming, so it'll be extra embarrassing if I screw this up. No garlic on the ingredients list, though, so I'll put that in the pros column. Let's take a look at the ingredients we're going to need. I need butter, and I need an awful lot of it, so if you're counting calories, you're either going to want to forget that you're doing that or pretend like you don't know how to read nutritional labels. I'm going to need a whole cup of butter, so for me that's 2 sticks of these guys, so if you aren't counting calories, you're going to want to keep doing that. You also want to make sure that it's soft, so leave those guys out for a little while and soften them up. I need sugar, and I'm going to need an awful lot of that too. I'm going to need 1 cup of sugar for the crust, and 1.5 cups of sugar for the custard, so that's 2.5 cups of sugar total. Now if you're like me, you'll want to keep an extra half cup of sugar lying around in a little bowl so that you can just eat it periodically while you're cooking, because I'm still at an age where that seems like it might be a good idea. I need all-purpose flour. I'll need 2 cups for the crust, and 1/4 cup plus a tablespoon for the actual custard. I have nothing witty to say about flour. I take flour very seriously. I need 4 eggs. It doesn't say what size eggs, so I'm using these extra large eggs from Meijer, as opposed to the small, medium, large, or jumbo, or something I discovered today, extra jumbo. I guess that's as large an egg as you're going to get without it being an ostrich egg. Lemons. I might have gone a little bit overboard. You're going to end up wanting about 2/3 cup of juice out of these guys, and it turns out I don't actually know how much juice comes out of a lemon, so I got about 7 lemons. We'll see how that works out. You're going to want about 2 cups of powdered sugar, which apparently goes by the alias confectioner's sugar, for a little glaze that we're going to make, and then you can use as much as you want to just throw on top of these suckers when you're done with them. And we're going to add just a dash of salt to the crust, about 1/4 teaspoon. I'm really doing this just so that when my doctor asks me if I add salt to my food, I can proudly say yes. The equipment I'll be using involves this 9x13 baking pan, this bowl. I'm supposed to be using a medium bowl, but apparently I have small bowls and this extra large super jumbo bowl. We don't go halfway in the Devereaux house. We go big or we go home. I'll be using a whisker, which my friends will probably use as evidence of my obsession with cats. This frosting brownie spreader thing, which apparently is also called a spatula, all lives under the same genus of spatula. This juicer, and I need a zester, but it turns out that there's one built into my cheese grater. I wonder what those little things were. The first thing we're going to do is really the only new thing for me, and that's zesting lemons, which apparently does not mean rubbing them with zest soap, which would seem kind of redundant since they're already scented like lemons. The first thing you want to do is make sure you wash your lemons very carefully, because we're actually going to be using the outside part of the lemon, and anyone could have been fondling your lemons before you had them, getting them covered with soot and coal. Members of the New York Yankees could have been handling these lemons, and I hear they never wash their hands. So I guess basically the idea here is just to rub this lemon up against this. I don't know. Looks like how it's done. Looks like it actually takes quite a bit. And from what I'm told, you want to go until you start getting to the white part, when the color fades away, because that's where the lemon starts getting bitter, and that's just no good at all. So right there, where I'm starting to lose my color, that's what I want to avoid. Seem to be having some difficulty because my grater seems to love the zest so much that it doesn't want to let it go. I thought it would go through to the other side, but it's not. I mean, this is going to take the rest of my life if I have to do it this way. I'm not really sure what the Christian response to this is. Guess I'm making a little progress, and I'm afraid to go too far down because I don't want to get too much of the white stuff. But yeah, my cheese grater just eats this stuff right up, apparently. I never really thought that anyone would ever actually want to zest anything. I found this toothpick, though, and I've been using that to scrape it off. I know it's pretty barbaric. I feel like a caveman here scraping it off. I don't know what else to do. I guess I have people in my life that I could talk to, but it's not the kind of thing you can just call up a stranger and say, oh, my cheese grater is eating all my lemons, so I don't know what to do. That's not the kind of problems that my friends want to hear. But I've got to fill up this teaspoon thing, and it feels like I'm fundraising at my local high school, and nobody's really giving me anything. But, well, hopefully we'll get there, you know, before the moon crashes into the earth. Well, I zested about 3 lemons, and I think I've got about what I need. 2 pieces of good news. First, the zest did eventually start coming through the back of the grater, so that made it a lot easier. The other piece of good news is that I don't think I need to wash my hands again, ever. They smell fantastic. One word of caution, if you are going to scrape the side of the grater with a toothpick to get the zest off, be prepared to have some get in your eyes. That's probably definitely going to happen. But I did manage to get my 1 teaspoon filled. Don't sneeze. Our next step is one I'm a little bit better at, and that's cutting these suckers and then juicing them. And after what they've done to me, I'm gonna have no moral quandaries with that. So, cut each lemon, and then just juice it. I've done this before, I'm a pro now. Well, I've just about got all of my lemons juiced. I actually had to take this guy off and wash him off because he got too pulpy, and I had to dry my hands because they got too clean. We want 2/3 of a cup of lemon juice. It'll be good to have a little bit extra because we're going to want to use that in the glaze. I think I've probably got more than enough, so props to me. My measuring cup says that the juice from our 7 lemons gave us about 1 cup of lemon juice. So we learned something today. We also learned that 7 lemons would be a pretty sweet band name. We only need 2/3 of a cup of lemon juice for the custard, but it'll be good to have a little bit extra for the glaze. Also, you don't want to really worry about going overboard on the lemons, because as I've read, if you don't have enough, then it really just tastes like butter bars. But I'm a little confused because they kind of made that try to sound like a bad thing. In order to save time, we're going to start preheating our oven to 350 degrees, which is just a little bit hotter than my bedroom gets at night in the new apartment I just moved into. Now it's time to get started on the crust. In my medium bowl, I'm going to start combining my flour. Where the flip is my flour? Oh, here it is. 1, 2. Sugar. Great idea. Butter. Oh man, this got soft fast. Got a cat with the same problem. Also a great idea. And salt. I gotta be careful because my 1/4 of a teaspoon is connected to my 1 teaspoon, and I don't want to lose all my hard work. Maybe I should do it. Our dash is a lot more than it used to be. I'm wasting a lot of salt, but it's better than wasting zest. Never waste zest, that's my policy. Now we just stir this bad boy using our spatula, and yeah, I mean, there's not like really like liquid in here, there's just butter. And I guess that's okay. Not really sure how I'm gonna know when I'm done. Yeah, the spatula's cool and everything, but Boy, it doesn't really quite get the job done like my bare hands. Feel that butter and sugar. Actually, this kind of looks more delicious than I was expecting. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take our dough and press it into this pan. We're basically creating a little shortbread crust, I guess. Is this shortbread or I really don't know. So I'm going to do my best to make this evenly spread throughout my pan. But at the end of the day, I'm just a mathematician. Making good progress here. I think I've almost got it looking pretty good. I also got it all over my hands too. Good idea. I've got what I feel like is a pretty even distribution of our dough, so I think we're going to stick it in the oven. Now our concoction is already finger-licking good, and I highly recommend licking your fingers because that is delicious. Of course, I don't even know why I even doubted it. I just filled a bowl full of butter and sugar. Why wouldn't that be delicious? Our crust has been put in the oven. You're supposed to put it in between 15 and 20 minutes, so I set my watch for 17 minutes because I'm a mathematician. While that's cooking up, we're going to get started on our custard. Now to get started on putting our ingredients together for our custard, our first step is to mix in our last 1.5 cups of sugar, as well as our 1/4 of a cup of flour. So let me get my flour here in this 1/4 of a cup. Throw them in there. I have cleaned and washed out this bowl, which goes against every bachelor atom in me. God bless, here we are. 1 cup, 1/2 cup. It says to whisk this together, and then it says to whisk in the lemon juice and the eggs. I guess maybe something bad happens if you put them all in at once. Florida wins the national championship, or Nelly Furtado comes out with another music video. I don't know, but I'm not taking any chances. Time now to add in our lemon juice and eggs. Let's start with the eggs, actually, and get those a-cracking. For those of you who have never cracked an egg before, and I know you're out there, I was like you once. You don't want to just, rat-a-tat-tat. You gotta show it who's boss. You can't be all, excuse me, can I get your egg? You gotta pretend like, this egg killed your family. And now you're gonna bash its little skull against the rim of this bucket and drink the brains of its unborn. Got my eggs, now I'll add my lemon juice. I've scaled it back to be only 2/3 of a cup, and I put the rest back in the juicer. I'll be able to use that later. So let's get this lemon juice in, and then get a whiskin'. This is what I do now. This is what I've become. It's extremely difficult to look manly while doing this. It's near impossible. So. Oh, and that's taking me in the opposite direction, actually. Embarrassed as I am to say it, I was supposed to add this zest to the crust, but it's almost done a-cooking, and it's a little late now. So, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in this and just gonna see what happens, It's my show. I can do whatever the flip I want. I worked too hard for that zest for it to go to waste. The other thing that needs to happen is, because I'm using more lemon juice than originally accounted for in the recipe, I'm gonna add a little bit more flour to account for that. So, we'll add another tablespoon of flour. To thicken things up. Here's our baked crust, hot out of the oven. The only thing left now is to take our concoction and pour it over. Does that look like enough? I'm skeptical. But at this point, this whole thing is really one big science experiment anyway. Well, we stuck our concoction in the oven and we're supposed to leave it there for 30 minutes. So while I wait, I'm going to see if 30 minutes is enough time for me to solve this 7x7 Rubik's Cube. Wish me luck. Look at that. That's good video editing right there. Here they are, fresh out of the oven. They're supposed to firm up as they cool, so we'll let them cool for a while. It doesn't exactly say how long I'm supposed to let them cool, so we'll just leave them be. The only thing that's left now is for us to concoct our glaze. Our glaze is just going to involve confectioner's sugar and some of the remaining lemon juice that we have. We want 2 cups of confectioner's sugar, then about 3 or 4 tablespoons of our remaining lemon juice. So I'm going to go ahead and dump in 2 cups confectioner's sugar. Come on. Smell. Oh, that's a fantastic idea. Absolutely, without question. Now I'm going to measure out 3 or 4 tablespoons of our remaining lemon juice. 1. And I don't really know how to stir this. Is this a whisking kind of thing? No, it is now. It's really more of a fork kind of thing. It looks like it's been mixed pretty well. I actually ended up adding a 1/5 tablespoon of lemon juice because it was basically just like a frosting. Just changed the consistency a little more to my liking. Oh, that's fantastic. Man, forget the lemon bars, I'm just gonna eat this. This has been cooling for like 15, 20, 25 minutes. I should have been watching the clock, that would have made a lot of sense. It feels pleasantly firm. So I'm going to start applying my glaze with my frosting spreader. And no, I don't really know what I'm doing actually. I think it's probably better to get it all out in the open here. Oh, look at that goodness. Oh, yeah. I got most of it out of the jar. I didn't get all of it out, which is kind of by design because I'm really looking forward to licking the bowl after this. And now I just want to spread this glaze as evenly as I can. And then let that cool for a little while as well. Well, I let it sit for about half an hour now. I was gonna dump some confectioner's sugar on top for style, but after the glaze that I just made, even I feel like that might be overkill. So, just to make sure that it's worthy of my girlfriend's mouth, I'm gonna take a taste. Supposed to look better than this, but I kind of screwed it up getting it out of the pan. Alright, here we go. That's not bad. Yeah, it's pretty good. Still gonna lick the frosting bowl though. So I think it turned out pretty good. I think this might be the first time that I've really botched something and kind of gotten away with it. Ultimately, it's not really up to me though, because this is one guest I cannot afford to disappoint. Meet my fiancée, Anna, the most beautiful girl in the world. There was actually no light in the room when this photo was taken. That's just the natural light of heaven that enshrouds her at all times. She recently mentioned that she absolutely loves lemon squares. I should probably have waited until she actually made wedding vows to me before trying to cook some for her. Let's hope the wedding's still on when we're done. So my fiancée is going to be enjoying these lemon squares in about 2 days, so they'll have a little bit more time to set and cool. Let's see what she thinks.
These lemon squares were fantastic.
Short and sweet, very succinct, but a positive review nonetheless. Sounds like she might still want to marry me. Thanks for joining me on The Kitchen Police. I'll see you next time.